They are an elite couple in the art world. They have been married for 2 years, but they seldom see each other. However, fans love them more and more. Just because they are both beautiful. By the way, standing in the same frame, so that everyone can't leave the line of sight. A person is a top star in the entertainment industry. One is the white moon in the film industry. Today, Li Wen received an invitation to a TV program about a couple. After walking the red carpet, Wen Li just wanted to refuse. But she didn't expect that actor friends often quarrel with her, the famous actress Zheng Shui. She immediately laughed at her for being afraid to take part in the program. Because everyone in this industry knows that they are husband and wife on contract. Otherwise, how could Song Yan let her go to so many activities alone? In front of the enemy. How could Wen Li give up? She can only say firmly that she will attend. Unexpectedly, Zheng Shui spread the news again. At this point, Song Yan just finished a shoot. She is wearing her wedding ring. But a text message on his mobile phone worried him. I turned down the director's invitation. If you don't come back soon, your wife will run away. Wen Li just took part in an activity and sat in the car. She regretted telling Zheng Shui to take part in that program. Now there are many appeals on the internet for their spouses to participate in fake plans. But she and Song Yan did get married on the contract. She just signed the divorce papers. This copy was sent to her fake husband by mail. She really doesn't know how to explain this to Song Yan in the future. Go back home. Because the skirt was too tight, she also took off her skirt at the door. She has been living alone this year. However, from nowhere today, another figure appeared. She walked into the living room with nothing on. Just in time for Song Yan. Song Yan also expected this to happen. Two people's 4 eyes staring at each other. After the reaction, Song Yan pretended to cover her face with white paper. I don't consciously sigh in my mouth. Not bad figure. Wei Li blushed in shame for an instant. Cover your chest with your hands quickly. Ask me again why I'm here. But Song Yan stood up again and said with a smile. I seem to be back in time. With that, he didn't give Wei Li a chance to escape. He held her hand. Immediately, he threw a blanket on her. Needless to say, he gently held her in his arms. She felt a little embarrassed. Why did you suddenly come back? Song Yan explained that he took a leave of absence. But then he came dangerously close to her face. Is it surprising that you came back to your home? Wei Li turned her head, not knowing what to say. Song Yan smiled on her lips. He also knows that it is not appropriate to ask some questions now. But Miss Wei. Our contract doesn't seem to have expired, does it? Wei Li turned her face to one side, puzzled. Song Yan approached slowly. Wei Li felt uncomfortable and shrugged her shoulders. But her stomach suddenly made a shy sound. She hasn't eaten well in recent days because she is going to the red carpet. So, she left in a hurry for this reason. Willie lied that she wanted to take a bath. Song Yan stood motionless, and his expression became unpredictable. Before long, the sound of water poured down like a waterfall. Song Yan stood at the door, turned on the phone and browsed the prominent news about his wife today. Pressed 2 fingers on the screen. Her eyes, lips and smile made him tremble, and how could her hands be slippery to praise her? Wei Li came out with a towel after taking a bath. Unlike the charm and power on the screen, Wei Li has clear beauty, which makes people feel very charming. Song Yan's eyes were dark. Then slowly approached his wife. At this point, when she saw it, she slowly stepped back. But Song Yan only grabbed the towel on her shoulder. Gently dry her wet hair. As if touching a jewel. Wei Li felt her heart beating fast. Her face couldn't contain shame, and she blushed. Song Yan suddenly asked. I heard that you are going to participate in the reality show of couples? The problem of divorce for later. Wei Li suddenly looked up and remembered this matter. Explain it quickly. That's because you are very angry with Zheng Shui, so you promised to attend. Will it bother you? If there is a problem, then find our manager to find a public relations team to explain. But Song Yan suddenly interrupted her to go. This program also contacted you. The conditions they offered were very good and sincere. I really want to try. Wei Li's eyes lit up. Really? But you're also a little worried. Because this program has no script. They have only met several times in the past 3 years. How can you express something naturally? But Song Yu doesn't care. Anyway, he agreed to let the manager talk to them. We can't back down anymore. Li Wei is curious. Everyone knows that he has never participated in entertainment programs, why he agreed this time. Song Yan can never admit that he agreed only to save the contract marriage. So, you lied seriously. Who will refuse money? Li Wei is very happy in my heart. Well, that's great. Stop looking for a public relations company. As a matter of fact, I just wrote a draft for this contract. So, if you say postpone, we will postpone. Just say that finish. Song Yan also breathed a sigh of relief. Wei Li suddenly approached, and he wanted to continue talking. But you can't hear what she is saying anymore. His eyes only focused on Wei Li's soft lips. A second later, he quickly embraced Wei Li and kissed her warmly. The smell of men has penetrated into Wei Li's nose. Her whole body began to get hot, too. In the light, two bodies were entangled. The divorce papers have long been thrown into the trash. The next morning, Song Yan was making a phone call on the balcony. Wei Li looked at Song Yan's back in a relaxed mood. Although the husband and wife are under the contract, there is nothing in the contract that prohibits them from sleeping together. But it's also her fault that she can't suppress herself. But she doesn't believe that others are lying in this bed. On Song Yan, I can still restrain myself. Wei Li picked up the phone and informed the manager that he would take part in the You in the World project. The manager is glad to hear the news. She said that yesterday, Zheng Shui also used some unfounded rumors. Wei Li wants to take part in There Is You in the World, but Song Yan doesn't want to go. No need to buy, formal notice is the most effective. Now she doesn't need to buy more bad people. The manager is glad to think of this. Zheng Shui and Wei Li are old enemies of each other. Compared with other women, they also choose to pretend to be intimate on the surface. Wei Li and Zheng Shui chose to play football and openly fought with each other. Because even if they hide the bad things they have done to each other, the other party will doubt themselves first. The biggest conflict between them is Lu Ming, now Zheng Shui's husband. 2 years ago. In a costume movie in which Wei Li and Lu Ming play the leading roles of men and women. In order to cooperate with the promotional film, they formed a couple. Taking advantage of this fake date has attracted considerable attention. Many accounts use sentence view to report two people dating in real life. However, due to official cooperation, Wei Li could not explain. After the promotion time, the team decided to separate the couple and explain their relationship. But Zheng Shui and Lu Ming unexpectedly announced the good news. This big donkey made her screen couple immediately laughed at on the internet. She immediately fell from heaven to hell. Until her husband came to her side according to her contract. The love between them became hot news in an instant. Put an end to the noisy rumors. Wei Li doesn't understand why Song Yan won the Outstanding Nova Award for her first work, although her acting skills are immature. But why did you help her? At this time, Song Yan suddenly returned to the room. His eyes focused on her white skin. Song Yanxiao bent his lips and his eyes became excited. Li Wei panicked and realized that she looked charming. She sat up quickly and repaired the clothes. Her gentle appearance looks like a naughty cat in Song Yan's eyes. Cute enough to make people want to touch. A few days later, large-scale forums and group meetings will be held by Song Yanhe. Wei Li's love story topped the list. Zheng Shui could not sit still. However, as long as she brings the representative to the program group. Strive for brand speaking time. I also know that the brand finally gave the Wei Li couple a say, because they were rated as the first by the audience. Zheng Shui trembled with anger. You left the office. Thinking about how Wei Li could participate in this program. Obviously know that she and Luming will also attend. She took out her phone to call LV Ming and announced unhappily that Wei Li would also participate in the program. LV Ming was surprised at this. When Zheng Shui heard the laughter suddenly stopped from the telephone line. She immediately knew what Luming was expressing. But you can't swallow this tone. She ordered Luming to cooperate with her when she participated in the program. If you let everyone know. That year, it was not that Wei Li didn't want to leave. But Lumming was biased towards Wei Li. Be an honest speaker. He has no dream of continuing to live in the entertainment industry. Lu Ming was silent for a long time, and he finally answered with a, "I know." After hanging up the phone, Zheng Shui was still angry. She wants to look up at the scenery to relieve her mental stress. Unfortunately, I saw Wei Li's billboard again. If Wei Li only fails in love but succeeds in her career, she will feel more comfortable. But worst of all, she is successful in both work and love. You refuse to accept it. Why did Wei Li get Song Yan's feelings after attracting LV Ming? What does she rely on? After 6 months of preparation, the program began. Just when the advertisement photos of Song Yan and his wife were exposed, Song Yan's fans soon took them to the top of the list. In order to seize this opportunity, they placed multiple cameras in their apartment. Collect the shots they take every day. The program has started. The photographer turned the camera to Wei Li. Let her say hello to everyone in front of the camera. Wei Li showed an elegant smile with her own inherent style. I used to rely on this smile. She can attract countless fans. After several hours of work, the assistant brought her lunch. This is a carefully packed lunchbox. Wei Li, who loves meat, immediately opened the lunchbox. But when she saw it, she was disappointed. I only saw the terrible light green meals inside. The photographer asked her to create air. You're unhappy because you miss Teacher Song, right? Wei Li instinctively wants to deny it. Who remembers him? But then she realized that this sentence could be broadcast. She thinks she must save the situation as soon as possible. Therefore, she said, "It's not that I don't remember, just a little." The theme song of this program is Surprise. So, does Wei Li want Mr. Song to give her a surprise? Li Wei has no special requirements. The two are just an agreed couple. She didn't expect him to meet the standards of a husband. His existence is a surprise. The word is not just a photographer. Even the assistant suddenly fell silent. Li Wei thought he was being too abstract. The lazy answer is insincere. At this time, the photographer kept laughing. Even the assistant praised it. Bruce Lee's words are too clever. Enough for photographers to capture. She made such a speech. Wei Li is a little confused, and has no idea what she said. Only when I got off the bus did I realize that I had inadvertently said a word. This sentence ranks first in the list. Countless fans asked which couple it belonged to. Well done. The assistant kept praising. Beat all hot search they paid for in one sentence. But she was worried. Teacher Song will not be here tomorrow. I wonder what Li Wei can do alone to maintain the effect of the program. Li Wei also some confusion. A separate live stream is so confusing. At this moment, the elevator came. You can only move forward step by step. The assistant reminded her to pay attention to the indoor camera when she got home. Li Wei couldn't help thinking to himself. She asked herself, if we can persuade Mr. Song to buy a plane ticket as soon as possible, we will come back tomorrow. It may not be too late to save. But when they opened the door, she faced Song Yan's suitcase again. He looked as if he had escaped halfway. Seeing this, Wei Li became extremely anxious. Are you really going to leave me alone tomorrow night? Song Yan's voice sounds calm. I'm sorry, notice here suddenly in a hurry. Go back too late. Willie is a little angry. She is worried that it will be embarrassing to participate in this program alone. So they quarreled for a long time. Even the cameras not far away are watching. In the hotel room, the assistant director shook his head. Wei Li, maybe she is really angry. Will this surprise turn into terror? But at that moment, Song Yan suddenly opened her mouth. Wei Li ideographic period. Actually, it's not that I can't come back in time. If you can pretend to make a cute little gesture to me. Hearing this, Wei Li felt ashamed and blushed. She pushed him out of the room door. If you want to pretend to be cute, you will never be so cute in your life. Isn't it your own live stream? So the next day, she was mentally prepared all day. In the evening, she adjusted her breath in front of the camera. Smile as usual. Then open live stream to greet the audience. In a short time, the audience in the live broadcast room increased to 43,000. The fans were surprised. Because I think the program production team is joking. Just then, another fan walked into Livestream's room and wrote, "Wow. I always imagined that the production team was laughing at me, but I didn't expect Song Yan to be really absent." Li Wei didn't read these comments clearly. Therefore, she put her mobile phone close to her and read every comment carefully. When she is close to the screen, her face is so beautiful that it is hard to describe. It's so beautiful. It melted my heart. When she read the comments of her fans, she didn't dare to flinch. At this time, the agent just sent a text message. She remembered to thank her fans for their gifts. Wei Li did it like a management guide. She began to thank the fans of Livestream. "Thank you. ID is 3 forces. You are a good mother's baby. Send 100 submarines. By the way. Thank you, Mom. I have money to spend. Don't waste any more." After that, she continued to thank other fans. Star couples participate in a couples entertainment program. Just because her husband ran away on a business trip. But just when people think this is absolutely inevitable conversation, she performed a passionate dance and overwhelmed the whole room. Do you still know that you are a female artist? 480,000 fans are screaming. When she was dancing, her husband came back suddenly. Look at her. Song Yan didn't expect that after 2 years of marriage, you can still see such a beautiful woman. After turning off the camera, she is lying on the sofa. Song Yan couldn't restrain her laughter. Wen Li felt angry and ashamed. She said that she would sleep on the sofa today. How could Song Yan let you sleep there? I had to force her into the bedroom. But Wen Li is like an arrogant cat. Hard head doesn't want to hear it. Finally, Song Yan had to use tricks to distract her attention. When she is not at home, she will give a concert. But when I came back, she pretended not to talk to me. Even when I came back, she asked me how to get back. Finally, she blamed me. Li Wen explained angrily. Her angry expression is not because Song Yan will come back. And because even if he came back, he didn't inform her an hour in advance. Make her feel so humiliated. Song Yan pretended not to understand. She is not worried about losing her face in front of millions of viewers. How can she have different standards? Wen Li was puzzled by his words for a while. She even agrees with what you said. Is this because I have double standards? Song Yan nodded to confirm. Therefore, the self-righteous Wen Li is even more angry. Lured into the bedroom by Song Yan, she lay in bed and picked up the phone lazily. Unconsciously asked Song Yan, "Didn't you say you couldn't go back because of the work notice? How did you get back?" Then she suddenly turned her head. From now on, don't run away from the inevitable work. She can handle it. Song Yan praised her for being really talented. Hot Search is her name. Bruce Lee is full of pride. Then why did you come back? Hearing this, Song Yan frowned. He also feels a little sad. He asked her, "You don't want him back?" Asked about this matter, Li Wenli felt very embarrassed. After a period of thinking, she turned away arrogantly and said no. After listening to this, Song Yan sighed. Then I think quietly. Arrogant cat. Every intimacy is like giving to others. But it seems that God knows that this animal is not loved by anyone. Therefore, give her an appearance that conforms to human aesthetics. And that soft body. However, as long as this animal shows a little weakness and inferiority, this is enough to make people lose their vigilance. I heard silence for a long time. Wen Li thought he was asleep. But when I turned my head, she didn't expect you to look at her gently. And very close to her. Wen Li blushed and her heart beat fast. You don't sleep, why don't you talk? Song Yenshao smiled and suddenly asked Wen Li. You know why people prefer cats to dogs, even though dogs are more friendly to humans? Many people still prefer cats. Wen Li felt a little vague. She thought Song Yan wanted to keep a cat. She broke the idea at once. Because it will fill the house with cat hair. Song Yan looked at Wen Li's hair. But obviously, in the bathroom, she lost a lot of hair. She dare not even say so. The next day, Song Yan was invited by the directors to a private meeting room for tea. The directors surrounded Song Yan, trying to perform well. I hope you can participate in their upcoming film. Song Yan answers everyone. In a humble and polite manner. There is no arrogance of a star. This made director Guo look at him respectfully. He directly invited him to participate in a perceptual work. Not only is there a generous reward, but there is also a protagonist. But Song Yan politely refused. He explained that he was really not good at emotional scenes. Worried that it will destroy this important work and role. Director Guo listened to Song Yan and flatly refused. Don't want to give up, he thought of Wen Li. Ask her if she would like to attend. Song Yan understands the meaning of the director. He politely suggested that if he cared about your wife, you can contact Li Wen's agent directly. But if it's just because of what you said, invite her. That won't be necessary. His wife is too powerful. At work, she doesn't want to contact him. After the meeting, Song Yan is ready to go home. His back seems empty. The conversation with the director just now touched on his weakness. She's too powerful. I never like to disturb others. But it also worried him. It seems easy to lose her. When he got home and opened the door, Wen Li suddenly wore lovely pajamas. Jump in front of him. Wen Li is glad to welcome him home. Song Yan was shocked. Am I in the wrong house? A cold female star suddenly put on a lovely pajamas. This is the first time she has studied with her husband who has been married for 2 years. Just because their house is crowded with cameras. Recording reality shows all the time. So, she deliberately ran to the door and waited for her husband to come back. She also gently changed Song Yan's slippers. At first, Song Yan was a little surprised. I thought he went to the wrong door. But when his eyes glanced, I saw the camera in the corner of the room. He suddenly realized that it was not simple. So he pretended to be dusty. Take this opportunity to see if there are any needles in it. Until he is sure that there is no problem. He dares to wear slippers. The director is behind the camera. He almost lost all his image because he couldn't help laughing. This shows that Wen Li has never actually done these things. Unusual things, there must be strange things. Even Song Yan is worried that his wife will hurt him. Since the last time Wen Li promised herself that she wouldn't screw it up. Wen Li is going to dance live on a couple's reality show. She will not give in to Song Yan. So, the geek director immediately arranged this part. However, Li Wen is a very professional star. Yes. When it comes to work, she will improvise. Even put him on the sofa. Then I started to massage him. Then, she gently said to Song Yan's ear. Do you think these hands are enough? The warmth in my ears. Make Song Yan's eyes dark. He gripped her wrist tightly and endured the heat. Say not to disturb her. As long as he goes back to his room to rest. He talked and went into the bedroom. But when he closed the door, he couldn't help blushing with shame. God knows if there were no cameras. What does he want to do to Li Wen? However, on the other side of the camera, Wen Li still frowned. Song Yan refused to cooperate. She can't do it. The director's voice came from the camera. This can't be called hype. Wen Li was unhappy after hearing this. She said that she had done her best. Don't be cute, call you love, is called a fool. See her posture. The director couldn't help spraying the water out. The camera also flashes more support. Li Wen gnashed her teeth angrily. She said she couldn't do it. The director thought for a moment. Decided to send her some videos of other girls. Like Zheng Shui. So that she can refer to it. When Wen Li heard the name of his enemy, she was suddenly motivated. I can't lose. But she still feels anxious. If Song Yan still doesn't respond, she'll lose face. The director asked her for advice. Song Yan may feel embarrassed in front of the camera. So she can tell Song Yan to turn off the camera. Wen Li hesitated and decided to give it a try. And soon, she opened the bedroom door with a plate of fresh fruit. Without speaking, she went to the camera and pretended to turn it off. Song Yan suspects. Why did you turn off the camera? Wen Li is a little worried. It was getting late, so I turned it off. Then she obediently handed the fruit bowl to Song Yan. Do you want to eat? Song Yan just held out her hand. She flexibly took the fruit bowl out of his hand. Then, in Song Yan's incomprehension, she picked up an apple and put it in his mouth. He was a little shy, but he still opened his mouth. Feel your fingers lightly touching your lips. Song Yan stroked her lips with her hand. At this moment, his feelings burned up. Wen Li didn't realize the danger and kept joking. At the same time, she insisted on eating. Then, she just ate an apple that Song Yan gave her. They just pretend to praise. The apple given by my brother is very sweet. The studio laughed unconsciously. At this point, Song Yan also felt a little weak. He said, "What do you call me?" Wen Li was confused and repeated it. "Brother. Or you want me to call you husband?" When Wen Li thinks that the director's teaching doesn't work for Song Yan. Song Yan's mood began to change. It's getting complicated. After a while, he called again in a low voice. Wen Li asked some puzzled. "Call your brother or husband. I didn't expect you to finish." He blushed to the ear. He lowered his eyes and dared not look at his wife. Unexpectedly, Wen Li suddenly jumped into his arms like a kitten. "I kept calling my brother in a lovely voice." At this point, his reason completely collapsed. In less than a second, the fruit fell to the ground. Wen Li was pressed under the bed by Song Yan. This time, she was really scared. But Song Yan's face approached her. "Breathing is very hot. Calm for a while and ask her in a low voice. Leprechaun. Turn off the camera. What are you going to do?" Song Yan's attack. Wen Li could not help but swallow saliva. "I just want to eat grapes." Song Yan smiled. "Together with your hands, you can never let go. It seems that the situation is not going well." Wen Li, with only a little reason left, shouted in panic. "I didn't turn off the camera. Calm down first." When this sentence comes out, the air immediately quieted down. It seems that the camera finally realized its uselessness. The red light went out gradually. The director is very excited. He quickly made the team work to edit the clips. He particularly emphasized the important parts of some scenes. Part of it is cut off and closed. "I think this program will be very famous." Sure. Soon the trailer clips have been released to major forums. Soon after. On the theme of Wen Li and Song Yan climbing hot search. And this had directly overwhelmed Wen Li's opponent. Zheng Shui went to study teeth angrily. However, the husband and wife are very embarrassed here. If you don't break in time. Song Yan really doesn't know what she can do. But when you calm down. Song Yan felt very disappointed. Wen Li realized his unhappiness. "I thought you were angry." Song Yan smiled. Does he have any reason to be angry? Because she is too selfish. Or is it because you can't control your feelings? But this sentence Song Yan didn't say it. Wen Li thinks he doesn't like to hear her call him brother. Actually, she just wanted to call me boy. But I realized that I had graduated for many years. If you are afraid to say it, you will be naive. Song Yan's hand picked up the fruit and stopped. The heart also missed a rhythm. Finally, he smiled softly. What does it have to do with age? Because even at 70. You are still my brother. Your favorite person. I can't say the last sentence on my tongue. But in the end it stayed in my heart. Very fast. All the couples took part in this program. Drive to the next shooting scene. Zheng Shui and Wen Li are no exception. At the same time, Wen Li is pleading with Song Yan in the car. Unexpectedly angered Luo Ming and Zheng Shui. At least step on them. She believes that teacher Song's acting skills will definitely guide her. But Song Yan doesn't seem to care. He looks complicated. Ask Wen Li. It's been 2 years. Do you remember him? Both of them know that he is Zheng Shui's husband Luo Ming. Li Wen said angrily. She said how she could forget. Anyway, at that time, she was also wronged as a third person to intervene. However, Song Yan misunderstood that she still had feelings for Luming. Unhappy, he turned and looked out. Wen Li looked at Song Yan unhappy and unhappy. Do you think you might be angry as a candle tool? My wife used me as a tool for revenge. I have no reason to be angry. Li Wen looked at it for a while and was disappointed. She knew that Song Yan had no obligation to help her. After all, they are just husband and wife on contract. However, she still promised to participate in this program. I saw you swearing like that again. At this point, Li Wen was also dissatisfied. Can't blame her for revenge. After being severely scolded 2 years ago, she couldn't forget it. It was none other than Luo Ming. She firmly believes that she is not wrong. Seeing Li Wen just looked out of the window and said nothing. You are too weak. He really can't do anything to Wen Li. I can only be modest and speak quietly. It's not that I disagree. I don't object. It was already dark when we arrived at the shooting location. The director decided to take everyone to a nearby restaurant. The little assistant is eating lobster happily. But Wen Li kept raising her eyes to Desire. But dare not eat with chopsticks. Because you have to stay in shape. The assistant wanted to see Wen Li very much. She gave Wen Li a shrimp. Just take a bite and you'll be fine. Wen Li was moved and her mouth was watering. Open your mouth quickly. Because the assistant said so. She can't refuse. Who knows that at this point, the manager suddenly. An hour, a full face of warning. Li Wen panicked. Because she knew that if she ate this piece. I'm going to the gym for 3 hours tomorrow. Li Wen is very disappointed. She dare not eat shrimp anymore. At the same time, Song Yenjung looked at her. A sad expression clutched the chopsticks in his hand. It is really distressing. Let Song Yan unable to restrain her laughter. After the banquet, Li Wen Li drank some wine. The little assistant sent Wen Li back to her residence. I didn't expect the elevator to open in the middle. See Mr. and Mrs. Luo Ming again. See Wen Li, Zheng Shui also feel very surprised. Then pretend to hug and express your feelings. But Luo Ming took a step back. Just tell Zheng Shui to take the next bus. Hearing this, Zheng Shui said angrily. This elevator belongs to Wen Li. Or you are an idiot. Say that Finish didn't say a word into the elevator. Li Wen didn't take a look. What they have? What does it have to do with you? Before long, everyone arrived at the hotel. When going out, Zheng Shui looked at Wen Li and felt very angry. Finally, she couldn't help saying it. Li Wen. Why do you make people look so angry? Wen Li is gradually sober than before. Because you can't eat lobster today. She also felt angry. She leaned back gently on her glasses and smiled. Many people hate me so much. Who are you? You forget that I am a voter of that program. Without me, you won't be famous. Without me, you wouldn't have. Why don't you shut up? Zheng Shui trembled with anger. She began to lose control of her words. She is so famous only because of her husband's resources. But can your relationship with Song Yan deceive me? There is no shortage of people like you in this world. What's more, at that time, she was not ignorant of shame. Holding my husband all the time. So Song Yan was afraid of being stuck in the corner, so she participated in this program with her. Hearing this, Li Wen Li became angry. Say you can. But if it's Song Yan, it won't work. She couldn't help sneering. If it weren't for 2 years ago, she and Luo Ming were mating. I have stopped him for a long time. Otherwise, those unclear warm messages your husband sent me. I can ruin his honor. Luo Ming is a little worried. But Wen Li still didn't get enough of it and kicked it hard. Only Zheng Shuisai regarded Luo Ming as a piece of cake. Your eyes are not blind. My husband is 1,000 times better than him. More handsome. It's better to make money. Your husband can never be compared with mine. Zheng Shui's eyes widened angrily. Her voice rose a few notches. She and Song Yan are married by contract. What's the use of his being good at making money? Neither of them is a real husband and wife. Who said you weren't married? My husband says less and more. Going to bed at night kept me awake for 3 days. Luo Ming, can your family do it? Zheng Shui and Luo Ming are both black faces. Wen Li borrowed wine yeast from her body. Start talking, no longer hinder. Luo Ming was afraid that the situation would become chaotic, and hurriedly pulled Zheng Shui out. When the argument wins, she is preparing to come back with a relaxed attitude. But I saw a familiar shadow. Song Yan is carrying lobster. He looks unbelievable. Li Wen is a little embarrassed. She wants to know if he heard what she said. Without saying a word, they went back to the room. Wen Li talks to herself because she is too shy. When did you come back? Song Yan gave her the packaged lobster on the table. Said I just got back. Li Wen thought for a moment. A few minutes ago. Maybe he didn't hear him. So she tried to ask Song Yan. Did you hear anything just now? He started acting mode. The vacant face said. Hear something. Wen Li endur said in shame. This is my quarrel with Zheng Shui. Then she followed him to see how he answered. I didn't expect the next second. A slight collision, he immediately took away her sunglasses. And answer seriously. I've heard it. Immediately, Wen Li felt embarrassed and pushed Song Yan away. I didn't expect her to trip over two legs. And dragged Song Yan down together. As a result, they fell down in a dangerous posture. Get on the couch. Two people face to face. Li Wen looks very sad. You are not a man. After listening to it, Song Yan suddenly found it difficult to understand. I don't know which man you are talking about. How can you not be a gentleman? Even if you hear it, you should pretend not to hear it. Song Yan had no other choice but to raise her hand and surrender. I obeyed Li Wen. Whether she is right or wrong. She still has a way of making you feel wrong. It is my fault. Already bullied you. He took out the lobster that had been packed and brought back. Ask Li Wenlai to have dinner. When she heard the lobster, she woke up with bright eyes. But when she was concentrating on peeling shrimp, she accidentally saw it. Notes on the order. Less spicy, less oil and drunk medicine. A warm wave swept through her heart. It can not only help you satisfy your diet. And make sure your stomach can handle it. Then, she quietly peeled some shrimps and put them in a bowl. Push it in front of Song Yan. I won't eat too much. Afraid of endless waste. Then she felt sick and added. If you don't want to eat. Song Yan shook her head and smiled. What is your mouth made of so hard? Why can't it be more gentle? At night. Li Wenli has already started to almost fall asleep. At this point, Song Yan just took a shower and hugged her from then on. Then asked quietly. Do you want to try staying in bed for 3 days? Li Wen immediately fell asleep. Hide your face in a blanket. I'm just saying this to make fun of Zheng Shui. Don't think you're really that good. Song Yan smiled. You can't do it for 3 days. But it is entirely possible that one day you can't get out of bed. Li Wen was ashamed of it. Stay away from me. Song Yan gently stroked her head. He was even afraid that she would be sad to see Luo Ming and Zheng Shui together. I didn't expect you to have such spirit. It seems that you look down upon her too much. But after listening to it, Wen Li seemed very confused. Why should I be sad? Song Yan asked. Don't you like Luo Ming? When Wen Li listened, she insisted. Ask him where he heard it and told so many lies. Tomorrow, I will ask the manager to write a letter to the lawyer of the rumor maker. Song Yan was silent for a while. Then asked softly. Don't you like him? Why did you cry in the dressing room 2 years ago? Wen Li felt embarrassed when she heard what happened 2 years ago. She grabbed the pillow and covered her face. She said that everyone is weak sometimes. No one can avoid being vulnerable when he is young. But in Song Yan's mind, he thinks she used to like Luo Ming. But now, she has no feelings for Luo Ming. I comfort you. There is nothing to worry about. It's in the past. Li Wen is angry and ready to refute. But Song Yan just smiled and sighed. He reached out and covered her with a blanket. I suggest you go to bed early. Because I have to get up early tomorrow. Looking at Song Yan's lonely back, Li Wen summoned up his courage. She climbed onto you. Close to Song Yan. Looking into Wen Li's eyes, Song Yan was surprised. Ask what you are going to do. Li Wen explained angrily. I'm just angry. My angry tears. The more I think about it, the more angry I get. That Luo Ming, he is really annoying. Apparently, I already have a girlfriend, and I have mated with her. At that time, the manager obviously asked if he had a girlfriend. He said he was single. As a result, he and Zheng Shui have been in love for many years. You've been cheated. I was scolded for half a year. But for that, the career would be unstable. You just dumped him. Beat him to a disability. Song Yan listened to her complaints. You didn't say a word. Li Wen saw his one eye and asked. Don't you believe me? He approached and touched her board. The light in his eyes is so dazzling. You said you trusted her. Wen Li is uncomfortable to see him near. You stand back. Suddenly fell to the ground. Song Yan was worried and checked the situation. But seeing this behind the scenes, he was just laughing. Li Wen scolded him angrily. What are you laughing at? The celebrity couple have been married for 2 years. But he always thought that his wife's heart liked others. Wen Li felt very angry when he said that he liked others. Push her husband to bed. Who did you hear this lie from? I will send them the lawyer's letter tomorrow. Because I'm so angry. That's why I cried. She jumped up. But forgot to lie by the bed. Then she fell to the ground. At first, every story was complicated. I thought that after 2 years of jealousy, Song Yan would lose his temper. But as a result, he can't control it now. You laughed. Li Wen swore angrily. What are you laughing at? At this time, Song Yansai believed it. Not only does Wen Li dislike Luo Ming. She even wants to break up with that bad boy. It was 2 years ago. When Wen Li's acting career was on track. The program group arranged for Lu Ming and Wen Li to perform for 2. He had a girlfriend and didn't tell anyone. Got her attacked for a year. She was so angry that she hid in the dressing room and began to cry. I didn't expect to be seen by Song Yan again, and I misunderstood. Song Yan gently wiped the head wound for Wen Li. Li Wen felt comfortable and shouted. At this time, she naturally stroked the wound behind her. Yes, Song Yan wants to help her rub it. But it was avoided by Wen Li. I can feel her hesitation. He gently reached out his hand to her bone. He said you shouldn't be ashamed. He's done this before. Li Wen is not familiar with it. But it's really comfortable. She hesitated and finally accepted. At this moment, Li Wen suddenly remembered. Oh, yes. Before, I was attacked and cried on the internet. You promised to keep a secret for me. If the fans know, they'll curse even harder. But after listening to it, Song Yan felt heartache. He asked if they spoke too hard to you. It's okay. I'm used to it. In fact, there are many fans who like me. But before I finished, I was hugged by Song Yan. It's all over. In the future, I am here. No one will dare to bully you again. Finally ushered in a new day. In the eyes of many fans. 2 people holding hands. Amid the screams of fans. The top couple finally performed together in public. The opening game of the program is called Challenge Plane. Take action alone. Guess alone. The team with the highest score after the specified time will win the game. When they first walked onto the stage, Wen Li's hands began to tremble. The chicken flies and breaks the egg. The answer is correct. Go to the next question. But when I saw the next question, Wen Li suddenly blushed. Until time is almost used up. She raised her hand and shook her head. I can't do it. Next question. Song Yan finds it difficult to understand. At this time, the audience cheered in unison under the stage. Can't change. Li Wen Li can't stand it. Am I playing a game, or are you playing a game? Later, I don't know who reminded Song Yan. People want to eat grapes. Caca, Song Yan understood at once. Leprechaun. Yes, right. The whole audience was screaming. Li Wen Li blushed in shame. She hoped that she could find a hole to hide in. Said he didn't want to participate anymore. Then, she took Song Yan and ran into the lounge. The host blamed the director. Take a look, this question has angered Wen Li. There's nothing the director can do. Fans love it. The host pretended to be silly and asked the audience. Do you like it? The audience shouted in unison. I like it very much. The host was very excited. Then let's move on to the next part. Reinterpret classic movies. Li Wen Li took out a script. In the dressing room, she studies the script. But she can't concentrate. The painful caress of a brother. This screenwriter really dares to write. There was even a kiss. She is anxious to find the director. Is this a real kiss or a fake kiss? Directing is easy. Either way, it depends on everyone. But the audience must like real kissing. Li Wen Li went to change clothes. She wore a traditional robe for the first time. She couldn't control herself and looked at herself in the mirror. But she has made up her mind in her heart. Never kiss. Otherwise, it will be embarrassing. Song Yan knocked at the door. Li Wen Li is about to start. The stage lights went out. This country is full of love music. Their 2 shadows appeared on the stage. When the lights are on, Li Wen is in the robe. Bowed gently to Song Yan. Hello, brother. Song Yan is full of sadness. Go to the side and whisper to her. Hello, sister. Only that the 2 speeches have not officially started. But the screams of the audience almost overturned the whole building. The feelings of the commander and his little wife caught the attention of the audience. That's great. But fans don't know who posted their photos online. The whole comment exploded. But on the stage, the two continued to perform. Elder brother. I don't want to stay here any longer. I want to go back to my parents. Song Yan grabbed her wrist and pulled her to herself. His eyes are full of worries. If you come back this time, I think my parents will let me out. Li Wenjung tried to escape. The faint voice doesn't care. Then don't go out again. It's good to be at home. What about you? Sister. I don't need my brother anymore. At this point, Song Yan seems to have become a poor outcast. Tell you what. Is it because you are not good? Wen Li looked him straight in the eye. The painful eyes even frightened her. Everyone's heart is trapped by this question. I hope she won't let the audience down. Feel the quiet atmosphere around you. Wen Li thinks it's time to make the atmosphere more active. Anyway, this is an entertainment program. This is not a real drama. So she pretended to cry and wiped her eyes. She shouted loudly. Because you can shout dead. This word is not just Song Yan. Even MC and the audience were silent. After a few seconds of silence, the whole stage gave out thunderous laughter. Song Yan tried to keep smiling. He thought, acting, he can still overwhelm the girl. But on entertainment programs, she's really overwhelming. So, Song Yan sighed. You sleep gnashing your teeth. Did you say anything? As a result, the laughter in the audience did not stop. It exploded again. The effect of entertainment programs reached its peak immediately. Many spectators knocked on my thigh. Laughed together and joke about their relationship. They are really a perfect couple. Wen Li didn't expect Song Yan to seize the idea so quickly. She stubbornly suppressed and did not laugh. It's finally time for the last expensive kiss. Song Yan pushed the girl against the wall. Wen Li tried to escape and shouted. Let me go. The audience began to get excited. This is kissing. Here comes the kissing scene. It's really time. Song Yan's performance is over. Star couples participate in entertainment programs. Unexpectedly, she was pushed against the wall by her husband and kissed strongly. But the dark man covered their faces with his arm. In case anyone sees it. But it reminds people of themselves. Wen Li pushed away with her hand to remind Song Yan. The performance is over. This time, they both played roles. It's the relationship between the general and the adopted daughter. But anyway, it's just an entertainment program, and it doesn't need a real kiss. However, Song Yan couldn't help it. Instead, he quickly bent down and kissed her lips. Leave a gentle mark on her lips. A touch passes through. However, it made her more sad than any kiss. At this time, MC came quickly and asked curiously. Did you kiss? Song Yan bit her lower lip gently. Swallow lipstick. Then, he answered softly. No kissing. He knew that Li Wen was easily ashamed. Dare not tell the truth. Although MC regrets it. But there is nothing he can do. The audience can only be warmly applauded for their performances. Then go to the next section immediately. The theme is the little pleasures in life. The guests all brought something special in their hearts. Every work has its own story. After the first work was exhibited, MC deliberately creates mystery. Let the audience and guests guess whose it is. When the canvas is opened, I immediately saw the pomegranate painting. The fans under the radio shouted at once. This is a relic of the Song Yan couple. They saw this thing when they returned to her house. Li Wen was surprised. You brought my father's painting. But Song Yan shook her head again and said no. This is not my painting. At this moment, Zheng Shui came out unexpectedly. This is a souvenir of her and Luo Ming. It's a pomegranate painting by a painter in China. He only painted this one. The only painting in the world. 2 years ago, she married Luo Ming. Luo Ming was bought from a collector at a high price. It felt very meaningful, so I brought it here. The host of the program laughed happily after listening. Distracted by the fans. Why do they keep shouting that this belongs to Song Yan and Wen Li? Maybe they have this painting at home. Zheng Shui pretended to be taken aback. There is actually only one painting. They may have bought a copy from someone else. Or I can exchange it for another thing. I didn't expect such a misunderstanding. Zheng Shui's behavior attracted the praise of MC. But then, the matter quickly climbed to the top of the hot topic. People began to criticize Li Wen on the internet. Buy fake paintings when you have money. I don't understand art. Pretend to do something. Gloomily, Wen Li sat in the car. Zheng Shui must have done it on purpose. She must know that she has this painting at home. But Zheng Shui doesn't know. The paintings in her home were given to her by her father. She took a fake painting and criticized her. If Song Yan hadn't taken her away. She quarreled on the spot. However, it is too late to contact the analyst. The assistant told her. She reminded Wen Li to be mentally prepared. Because Zheng Shui will definitely continue to get into trouble. Late at night. Zheng Shui published an article. This is a trivial matter. Don't disturb others. Wen Li was furious and threw her mobile phone aside. She is going to complain to Song Yan. But she found Song Yan standing on the balcony and calling someone. You can't stand being angry. We are all in the same boat. I didn't expect this man to be so calm. She picked up the blanket angrily. Close your eyes. She finally slept until noon. She'll wake up soon. Go find someone. See Song Yan sitting at the table. She asked him if he was watching the news online. Will my manager help me with this? Song Yan paused. Let's eat first. I don't want to eat. Song Yan looked at the phone calmly. Everything has been settled. I didn't have time to confirm last night. I contacted Xu Shimao's official account directly. After that, your father will take over this matter. Li Wen looked at the phone. Your legitimate rights and interests have been guaranteed. The feedback from the article has been shown. Zheng Shui's painting is fake. Buy a fake painting and call the police quickly. See these comments. Li Wen was a little surprised. I didn't expect to sleep until noon. Social networking seems to have passed for a year. But something is wrong. My father doesn't know how to use it. What is this song? Song Yan said softly. I wrote it. I haven't said anything for a long time. Until she said. Teacher song. Are you an angel? Yan He felt a little funny. He patted her on the forehead. You are not an angel. You are my husband. Hurry to wash your face and eat. Li Wen looked at the man in front of his eyes. You're a little frustrated. Just for one night. I got in touch with your father. Verified and written statement. This performance has surpassed the top public relations team. No wonder he kept calling last night. She thinks she is evil. She even misunderstood her ruthless husband. I was angry with you for a long time. Look at your tired face. Wen Li, a person who is always arrogant. Head down for the first time. Teacher song. Thank you, sir. You're a little surprised. Anyway, the arrogant cat he keeps has really become a good boy. This mentality is really complicated. It took a little time to go on. It's nothing. Wen Li felt a little embarrassed and answered quickly. Is it? What do you want as a gift? Thank you. Tell me I have money. Song Yan smiled blankly. I am not short of money either. Wen Li said very gently. Okay, so what do you want? Wen Li thought, it can't be a kiss. But she didn't expect Song Yan to think of another direction. He put his hand on his chin and thought for a moment. Then kiss me. Wen Li was surprised to petrochemical degree. She doesn't think she will guess right. But she is still close to kissing Song Yan. Then Song Yan turned around and she looked confused. Why don't you refuse? Usually I don't say. You are dreaming. Song Yan smiled and saw herself imitating Wen Li. Why do you want to listen to such words today? Because Song Yan imitates her very much. She told him angrily. There are no more gifts. I'm going to wash my face. Song Yan is not angry either. It seems that the goblin really came back. But when Li Wen came back. You are really confused. He is obviously joking with me. Why should I be angry? For the first time, she felt that she didn't know herself. After thinking for a moment, she turned around and asked. You really don't want a Thanksgiving present? Song Yan seems a little surprised. No need. Li Wen feels very angry. It's up to you. Then she went to the bathroom angrily. Look at the mirror with sadness. You don't know what you are disappointed in. At this moment, she suddenly saw Song Yan coming from the mirror. Just ask me. Can I help you? But who knows? Song Yan bent down and kissed her gently on the cheek. An emotional voice. You idiot. Even if I want to receive a thank you gift. I don't want that either. You are my wife. Do I have to find a reason to kiss you? After that, you leave. You are the only one standing there. Her face turned red. After a while, she realized and shouted behind him. I haven't washed my face yet. You didn't keep any hygiene. When the photography work is over. Wen Li and the manager returned to the entertainment company. Sister Dan stood behind her and reminded her of today's schedule. This year's male singer competition is about to begin. You need to attend. At this moment, she accidentally saw a girl. She greeted me in a friendly way. Guys, you also went to the meeting. But I didn't expect that Xu Xingyue, a member of the top female band, didn't seem to see them walk by. Mrs. Dan is a little unbelievable. Last year, she made her debut. Also called Wen Li's sister, who is closer than anyone else. She has been floating for over a year. You're already so proud. She didn't see anyone come back so soon. Wen Li smiled and fixed her glasses. Not everyone is as lucky as her. Benefit from the fame of idols. Let's leave now. We have a meeting with our planning team today. However, Sister Dan felt a little strange in her heart. This will ensure that this goblin has a plan again. It was in front of the boss. This is General Manager Li from Fengxun Company. Li Wen shook hands and greeted politely. At this point, Xu Xingyue pretended to have just seen her. In front of the general manager. Then a friendly smile, say, hello, to Wen Li. Li Wenshao. My throat is not broken. Aunt Dan pretended not to know how to say hello. How's your throat? Xu Xingyue, some don't understand. Your throat is fine. Wen Li waved as if she had said nothing. I think I forgot my glasses today. Otherwise, why did you say hello just now? No one answered. Said Xu Xingyue, some panic. I'm sorry. I really forgot to bring my lens. I will pay attention to it next time. Thank you for reminding me. Who's the hostess? How can I not know after going through the mall? Just open your mouth. The boss will cancel your work arrangement in 2 months. Let me operate. In case you see me, you won't say hello. Xu Xingyue was too scared to stand up. After the meeting, the boss asked Wen Li to stay in the meeting room. Wen Li knew why, but also deliberately asked. What's the matter? What's wrong? Why did you stay and chat in private? The hostess has a headache. My aunt. What did you mean by Xu Xingyue in front of the general manager just now? She is becoming more and more popular in the show business. After listening to her words, Li Wen looked very unhappy. Then why are you defending me? The hostess glanced at her. You are my biggest ATM machine. I can't hurt you because of Xu Tingyue. Li Wenshao. She doesn't believe it. Of course, she needs my help. It really is. The wife of shop owner suddenly approached and asked. Does your husband have a minute? As long as in this male band competition. He promised to be a guest. This time it will definitely attract attention. Li Wen is unwilling. The proprietress knows Bai, the manager of his company. You should talk to his manager directly. But who knows that the hostess will pat her on the shoulder. His wife stood in front of me. Why did she go too far and waste her time? Li Wenli is a little embarrassed. Even if I say. He is not sure that he will come. But the hostess didn't care. Tonight, you must give me the answer. In the evening, Wen Li and Song Yan sat in the car together. About what the proprietress said. How to introduce him. After all, she is just your wife on the contract. Li Wen feels inconvenient. Help you create opportunities. Miss Li. The audition program you will participate in. The proprietress asked me to invite Miss Song as a guest. Did you tell him? Thanks to the opportunity created by her assistant, she turned to ask Song Yan. My assistant just said you heard him. Do you have a minute? But who knows that? Song Yan replied coldly. I didn't hear it. Li Wen spoke loudly in his ear angrily. My assistant spoke so loudly just now that you couldn't hear him. I told you, and you heard something. Do you have a filter in your ears? But Song Yan replied, no tie. Wen Li's hand is close to his ear. Let me check if it is bound. But his sudden grip on her hand puzzled her. Song Yan stared at Wen Li tightly for a while. Then, he sighed sadly. Always borrowing other people's words to make demands on me. Who the hell is my wife?